Sorry about that, everybody. Seems to be have some problem. I guess when there's a background music, Facebook sometimes will block you because copyrights and all the other things that comes together with it. But anyway, so what? On September 2nd, as I say, September 2nd, Judge William has issued her order to dismiss my 2255. Of course, she did not agree with Magistrate Raids, who is now district judge. She's no longer magistrate. But this petition has been sitting there for 5 years, almost. You know, as I said before, we have the technical issue here. We filed the motion on December 17th of 2017, and after I start posting all this video, called them corrupt, you know, scumbags, you know, you name it. You see the videos, you know it all. So she chose to come back and answer my petition. But actually what Judge William has done is get this thing out of her desk because it's too messy, right? It is too messy because, you know, you can see one thing, right? It's very hard most of the time when a judge go against a magistrate judge, right? So here in this case, she went in my favor. Because why? Because I was right. See, magistrate Raids, she come back here instead of, you know, going and really try to see the evidences that they might still have in court, I hope. She go back and start seeing the records of Judge Rosenbell, Beth Mitrani, the prosecutor from Broward County Prosecutor's Office, and everybody else, right? So she didn't really look at, you know, the evidence. She looked at the records, which they fulfilled their records with a bunch of lies, right? In fact, when I objected, the magistrate, which I'm gonna post when this live is stopped, we're gonna post the video for you guys with that evidence. When we object to what the magistrate will say, magistrate reads, you know, I went off on my petition to object, you know, her report recommendation. I went off on her because I'm just sick and tired of the BS from these people, right? And I told her, like, you know, staring, you know, she's keeping reading records that Robert Rosenbell has lied over and over and over again. So I told her, like, you know what? Why you not shut up and just bring me to an evidentiary hearing and put all this evidence that you say on the table, right? Because I've been asked for those evidences for what? We getting close to 10 years, right? And nobody seems to care about that, right? I'm telling a courthouse, I'm telling a judge, a magistrate, you're a bunch of freaking liars. You are liars. Where is the evidence, right? And none of them want to go ahead and put that on the table. But they just keep saying, oh, because we look at the records. The records say the prosecutor has provided to Mrs. Scotton 2 occasions, which, and try we prove, CDs was empty. And then when the Judge Evil told the prosecutor go to the office to get a fresh copy, she brought the witch brought the fresh copies, and the fresh copies only contain the spreadsheets, which we already know has been fabricated by FBI agent Roy Van Buren. So they keep going over this, over and over and over again, and nothing get done. So I respond to her, and now Judge William come to her motion. Of course, 46 pages on my memorandum of law. Out of all the arguments that I put it in, she didn't answer none of them. In fact, when she tried to talk about the empty CDs, which I don't care, I don't give a rat's of the goddamn fucking CDs anymore, because we already proved that those freaking CDs in court was blank, was empty, done, right? In fact, we even proved more that the lawyers, the court-appointed lawyers, defrauding, right, the taxpayers. Why? Because They claim to be looking CDs for 48 hours, which we already, proved it was empty. Of course, they collect the money from taxpayers, 42 hours for one, 38 hours for the other, right? Looking empty CDs. We prove all that. But the most important thing that I wanted them to talk about, and they avoid to talk about, that they don't have it and never had it. It is the goddamn paperwork that we can look page by page and see that the spreadsheets, it is real. So where is the paperwork, which they call aging detail paperwork? You got an Excel spreadsheet that you claim over almost $3 million in losses for Federal Express, UPS, and DHL. But then if you have all those invoices, which we already proved there are a 2,000 change or 3,000 and change invoice, 13 and something was repeat. Just to see how accurate the spreadsheet and legit the spreadsheet is. So we prove all that. So now it comes for the court to, stop lying or stop cover up for the prosecutor. The system, your judicial system already bleeding like crazy because everybody know how corrupt you guys are. See, maybe some of the taxpayers, you don't know that yet, but eventually, once you get them locked up, they're gonna learn that too. So, because that's the thing, some people, they don't care, right? All this thing that I'm saying, all this thing that I'm posting here, they don't give a shit, right? That's reality. Some people come here, see the videos, 2 minutes up, you talk about goddamn justice system, whatever. I'm not interested. Let's go see some titties. That's all the people are interested in those days. But anyway, until your ass goes to jail, and now they're gonna lock your ass down and say, sure, go ahead, find a way to defend yourself. And then sell your house, sell your car, sell your wife, sell your dog, everything you have it. You need to sell it that can afford to have a decent lawyer. But anyway, so Judge and Bell come talk about the CDs and say, well, the records say this, the CDs was provided to Mrs. Scotton on discovery, blah, 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 in 2 locations. And then one of the fake ass lawyers at Delsting, the one that claimed that he spent 38 hours looking at empty CDs, it did absolute shit about, my case or help me with anyway, because everybody just want me to sign a plea agreement. Sign a plea agreement, Mrs. Scotton, go to jail. But if you don't, you might face 30 years, 20 years. That's how they do it. That's the legal assistance that most of the attorneys in the United States provide to a federal defender. If you don't have big dollars to spend on them, be prepared to sign a plea agreement because this is how much they care. So Judge Williams say, looking records, right? And when I'm saying records, the records that Judge Williams mentioned here, she's going to the doc, look at the files that been posted by all of them, right? All the hearsay conversation, bunch of BS lies, they put it in. It's not they look at records as evidence. Even actually going to the CDs and look on the CDs or even call the prosecutor, I'm looking here at the CDs, what is the age details for the spreadsheets? Because we seem to not be able to find it. What they are. No, like I say, cover it up, right? So, she talked about that. But if you look at my memorandum of law that I posted on my website, scottonracing.com, I didn't ask her that shit. See how they know how to manipulate everything? You say something and they go here and make right on right there. Get off the mess. I ask you, Judge William, is this, where is the fucking aging details? Where is the paperwork? You got an Excel spreadsheet without any authentication from the companies. In fact, if you have looked at the records, Judge William, you'll be able to look at the records, the sentence paperwork, the sentence transcript, and be able to see when the agent himself confess that he's the one that created those spreadsheets. It's there. That's to see how Mickey Mouse he is. We think you guys are smart, but you're not. The only thing you guys smart about it is to control the system and do fraud. But I ask you, where's the paperwork? And meaning, if that many merchandise was shipped from the United States to Brazil, you should have pick up information or delivery, right, or drop off. You should have a way bills, commercial invoices. Went to Brazil, they pay taxes. What they call over there, DARF. It is the invoice that shows the tax and duties has been paid, and confirmation of delivery. So where is all this garbage that we can look in one by one and the losses and see, oh, $3 million in loss. Well done, Mrs. Scotton. You are the biggest scumbag in the world. Well, yeah, Judge William. And that's is exactly the stuff that I ask you, and since April 29 of 2019, you've been sitting, this petition been sitting, went back to you after Moreno defraud me once again by illegally denying my 2255 on December 28 of 2017. So you're sitting on this petition since April of 2019. And with 11 pages, you come back here. Did he address anything that I say here? Because you know what? I give to a 5 years old my memorandum of law. A 5 years old. And he said, she didn't respond to any stuff you got in here in the paper. You're right. She did it. Now, can you imagine this? Any other lawyer will see the same. But of course, no other lawyer going to go against you because you guys are all friends, right? Because God forbid a lawyer go against you right now in public. Next time he step his foot in front of the court, and you be the judge on the case that he's handled. Oh, you're going to fry his sorry ass and his client, right? Because you got the power. He used to be the head of the public defender. And I haven't mentioned this before. And what you done? What you done? You find a way to just go back to the system. Let the bell to keep spinning defenders after defenders from prison. It's there. It's cutting dry, Judge William. I told you right there in that petition, I got this much, right? This much evidences that I filed together. Either you guys throw the evidences on the trash, on the garbage. Well, I don't know. Someone must have it. Because when I filed this petition, it cost me a lot of money just the stamps, just to mail it. Because that's how heavy it is in papers. There's much papers. I sent it in to you guys. And you come back with 11 pages. I mean, doesn't count to the last one, right? It's just signature on the other crap. So, and deny me. And then you talk about mail fraud. And you go get the law of a mail fraud and insert right there in your response, which I already know what mail fraud is. 5 years old kids here that my cousin, he already know. I told him what it is, and he read that and he understand. But he don't understand still, like I did it. What is the mail fraud in this case? You guys charge me off. Because you can come and say all this, the person intentionally, or this or that, but then you say, oh, the jury found you guilty, so the prosecutor has proved that you defraud those companies. Okay, number one, the prosecutor went to the grand jury, lie has sorry witchy ass off to the grand jury, because they go inside a little room by themselves, nobody there. They show all kind of crap to the grand jury, probably bananas and ham sandwich. And the grand jury say, well, if they say so, then go arrest him. So in reality, the indictment say that 27 times I defraud the companies. One count, each count is one package. That right there on that fucking indictment, they say that those packages was delivered in Brazil and caused loss on the companies. During the freaking show time inside the courtroom, the freaking show in court, which was the trial, because nothing but a freaking show, The prosecutor displayed 27 packages, claimed to be those packages that she mentioned on the indictment, which she went in front of the jury to be able to get it. The same package that she claimed was the Live in Brazil, the cars lost on the companies, the which managed to go ahead and display 27 now in open court during the trial. So, can anybody go pick up the phone and call the witch and ask her, what's the magic? How can she pull the 27 packs out of her sorry ass when she said that the package was the Live in Brazil? Because I didn't understand still today. Now, let's go back to the law, Judge William. Because it seems to be you guys understand so well as much as I do, because I started for 8 years. I got my diploma. I'm going to show you when. I got that from prison. So, it's 27 counts and no lost amount. Never mentioned. As Supreme Court clear say in many different cases. I mean, we're talking about here McNally versus United States, 4A3 US 350 107, Supreme Court 2875 1987. They explained over and over again Cleveland versus United States versus Moreno, United States versus Sender, United States versus Farinella. Number one, the claim shipping servers from Federal Express, UPS and DHL, it doesn't count. It is not money and property. It is not money property, as Supreme Court already mentioned in all kind of different cases of someone tried to obtain a poker license, which they charge him with a mail fraud, they convict him, Supreme Court say, nope, you're wrong. Poker license application, it is not money and property. It's the same thing here. Shipping servers use it from this company, it is not money and property. Second is the fact that where is the lost amount of 27 counts, 27 packets? None of the indictment. Indictment number one. Second, the indictment number two. And indictment number three. Because, she's keeping, that's the way the prosecutor did it. Because I'm refused to sign her agreement, she's just keeping throwing things. The spaghetti case. Throw things in the wall, see which one's going to stay. Right? So, I was charged with the second superseding indictment. 27 counts of a mail fraud and 2 BS counts of lying to the immigration office. So 27 counts, none of them, from all the indictments, none of them ever was mentioned 1 cent of a lost amount. Now, if this case end up going to Supreme Court one day, and I really hope and pray they do, because I'm going to keep put the pressure on it, they're going to say the same. How can you convict someone and make someone serve 8 years in prison on a 27 counts of a conviction with no lost amount? So then tell me, what is the fraud? What he took from those companies? The airplane? He pocketed the airplane from FedEx in his garage? That's what it is? What it is. Right? Not going to even count with the fact that no paperwork has ever been presented. Ever. And I understand how can even Judge Evil, Rosenbell, which sitting now on the bench of the Court of Appeal for 11th Circuit, how can she allow looking at indictment that say Mrs. Scotton has been charged 27 counts of a mail fraud? She can clearly see that the prosecutor alleged that those 27 counts were shipped to Brazil and by then caused losses to FedEx, UPS, and DHL. And then during the freak show, the trial, we may call, she showed up with the 27 packages over there. Well, it's a common sense, ladies and gentlemen. If you say they ship something using the service of those companies and later on you bring these cases inside the courtroom, then it's no loss. Can never be a loss because they didn't ship it, right? If Federal Express is paying to shipping your package, if your package is not shipping delivery, they have not done their job, right? So then they're not going to expect getting paid for. Another fact here in this case. But I'm not going to go over, as I mentioned on my memorandum of law that has been established by Supreme Court. Like I say, you mail something to a person with the intention to defraud this person, to take from this person money and property. I never mail anything, ever, to Federal Express, never mail anything to UPS, or never mail anything to DHL. Even though that is the statutory law of a mail fraud, 1343, the allegations from the witch prosecutor Beth Mitran, she's saying that I used the service of the company by opening accounts under my own name and not paying, or use other individuals' accounts with authorization. That is not a mail fraud at all. But you, monkey people in court, keep just blind eyes and everything. And I'm not going to freaking count with all the violations. All the fabrication of a paperwork from the witch. All the lies posted and erect by the Judge Rosenbell herself. Like those that, Mrs. Scott don't cooperate with the lawyers. On the end, who's the criminal here? Who is the criminal? The lawyers. The lawyers lying in record to collect money from the taxpayers. Oh yeah, I spent 48 hours look the CD discovery, which proved to be empty. Was proven. If it was in fact true that those dumbass clowns have a look at the CD discovery, they'll be able to go back and say, I'm kind of under Mrs. Scott, or even talk to the evil judge, say, yeah, I see the spreadsheets, but what is the paperwork? How can we kind of, look paperwork and to make sure the spreadsheet that she's going to try to present in court during the freaking show that everything is legit here. None of them has even argued with this. None of all the attorneys have done. Listen, people, in reality, none of the freaking attorneys has done absolute nothing. I have even mentioned a lot of things on my memorandum of law over and over again against the videos. They have done absolute nothing. You need to understand how the system operated. They arrest your sorry ass. They throw you with the lions and snakes on the worst place you can stay. They mentally freaking you up, right? And also physical. To the point that you say, I give up. Please, let's make this go away. And the way to make this thing go away, the prosecutor, okay, let's do this. I'll offer you 3 years on a BOP resource. If you sign that, we stop everything right now. You lay down in a nice BOP facility, or maybe one of those nice Geo Group facility, that the judge owns the stocks on it. And that's what the system is. And you think a freaking lawyer is going to help you out? When it is the government that pay him every month the check? Listen, one time I was sitting in FDC Miami, which is a facility held by BOP. And I'm supposed to have a meeting with one of the lawyers. If I'm not mistaken, was the dumbass idiot Adelston, right? The corrupt asshole. I'm sitting there, eventually a door opened, which all these freaking lawyers, all this vampire that suck the life out of everybody, they start coming in. So this idiot comes straight up to me, sit tight, I'll talk to you soon. And before seeing me, he went to talk to another 8 inmates. And let's say he spent 15, 20 minutes with each. I'm saying there's a lot of time because it's not even that. Let's say he spent 20 minutes with each inmate, right? So eventually, at the end, he called me in. Come here, money, Mr. Number, come over here. And before I got a chance to sit down in front of him, right? Before I got a chance to sit down in front of him, and he goes and say, well, listen, I just received the discovery. I'm gonna take a look, and I'm coming back here next week that we can look and talk, right? So next week, this clown come back, and the same scenario took place. Excuse me. He saw a bunch of emails in front of me, and as soon as he called me in, and he goes say, I start looking, I asked the prosecutor for discovery, and some of the discovery was missing. So I'm gonna get it, and we talk about this next week. And I look in like, listen, next week you told me that you just received the discovery, and you already start looking, and we're gonna talk about today, and now you tell me that you don't have the discovery? I mean, are you pulling my balls? You know, then that's when I start arguing with him. Are you gonna do exact the other clowns done to me? You're gonna pretend and just build the hours that you can charge the court, or you're gonna help me? Because when you took your freaking, you know, scumbag attorney's license, you swear to tell the truth, to do justice, to defend those who can defend themselves, and now you just BS yourself here with me. So that is why I didn't cooperate with the lawyers, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what happened. Because see, I'm not some dumbass immigrant from another country, right? And that's what they do with a bunch of the immigrants over there, the poor people. They don't even have education. They can barely speak in English. So you can imagine what they do with those guys. Now, just to see how much it is easy to steal money from taxpayers, when attorney comes to those facilities to see you, before he coming in, he submitted a fax to those facilities. I don't know if today is electronic by email, but they follow up the paperwork with your name, your prisoner number, and say, I'm coming this time to see Mrs. Such and Such. And if he's gonna see 10 people, he's gonna send one fax for each people, right? He's gonna send it in. So when he step his foot inside that facility, BOP facility or any prison facility, right? They will clock. Mrs. Such and Such come at this time. Let's say Mrs. Such and Such come 10 o'clock this morning. When he finish with everybody, all his calls, right? Because we are called with just a number, right? When he finish, let's say he get out of the facility, it is now 12 o'clock. 10, 11, 12. He put it 3 hours. Do you think that he's gonna go back now and tell the court that he spent only 15 minutes with Mr. Ramon, 10 minutes with Mr. George, 5 minutes with Mrs. Scott? No. He's in all those emails he saw that day. He's gonna go ahead and put it that he spent 3 hours of each one. And that's how easy it is to steal from taxpayers. You believe it or not, do your math, do your investigation. I challenge NBC, CBS, Fox, Telemundo, Univision, any investigator report, go investigate it there. How much lawyers is stealing from taxpayers. That's how easy it is. Because there's no one over there to look at them. They get in, time is, it's like a freaking tax, man. The time is coming, right? It's counting. When they leave, that's how they do it. Well, I want to see 8 people today. And for all 8 people they wait over there to see today, he's going to charge the 3 hours, even though he spent only 10 minutes with me. He's going to charge the court, which is going to pay by taxpayers' money. They going to charge 3 hours. And they do that left and right. All of them. All court-appointed attorneys do this every day. The visitations, like I say, is just to put the time in. Sometimes they come here with the BS like the drunk-ass lawyer Armstrong. They come to represent me when at one point, come on Sunday drunk. He need to put the hours because probably he spent a lot of money gassing his boat. And that's how it is. Now, you want to talk about defend someone? Do what the law requires? They don't want to do it, man. Because it's too easy money. they receive $10,000 per inmate, right? They have so much those cases on a monthly basis, because they love this is the land of the dream. They love to put people in prison. They love it. You far over there in the corner, oh, you got arrested. You almost, you need to go to jail, because you far in the corner, people might die with this. So they love to arrest people. It's no doubt. Each lawyer, at least they have 10 clients given by the court system a monthly. It's a $10,000 per client. And that, if they don't put the little bullshit lies, this much hours spent, look and see this and that. Look, listen, it's a public record. You don't have to believe in me. Start pulling the public record in the federal courts and see the billings that goes for lawyers. They're doing absolute shit, because if you look all those cases, they represent, on the end of the month, all those 10 cases, they made when laid down for 2, 3, 5 years top in prison. And they did nothing. It's no trial, it's no investigation done, it's nothing. But in papers, they say they work their butt off and they collect the money. So that's the stuff. That's the stuff they keep saying, Rick, that I didn't cooperate with lawyers most of the time, because I couldn't swallow this. I don't give a crap. The law is the law, then let's do what the law requires you to do. You're not gonna do it? Okay, get your ass off this case. That's it. If I have a chance to fire 30 lawyers, then I fire 30 lawyers. But eventually, the judge himself, Rosenbell, understands that I know law, I understand law, I started the law, right? And she say, well, he's not gonna give up firing a lawyer. And then she come and violated my 6th Amendment rights, which is the right to have a legal representation. And she decide, since you not cooperate with the lawyers, you're gonna represent yourself. That's exactly the shit that happened. Not the way they put it in on the fucking news and all this garbage newspapers has rolled about me. That I have an attitude with the lawyers, that I didn't cooperate. This is all horse shit. The whole cooperation thing is type out, go to prison. Don't waste your time. We got another 20 clients here. And that's just the truth. I post a lot of those evidence. I post to you how scumbag those lawyers are. You saw the appellant lawyer lying on his letterhead. The federal courts does have the verbal audio, right? Which in this case, the lady that keep typing over there, she's the one that's alien. For her to be able to type it, 3, 4, 5 people talking at the same time and not make one single mistake when she print out the transcripts, she is an alien. But that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's the lies. It's your money. Taxpayers. Life is getting hard. You're getting hard paying your bills and put your kids in school. Go see where your money goes. And they call all this justice. Justice. It's justify where your money goes. That's all the only thing they do over there, those freaking shows. It's nothing to do with justice. It's pure evil and money. That's what it is. So anyway, Judge really didn't answer anything. She didn't care, right? On the beginning, the case was given to her. And when I tried to appeal my rights to have a bail, to be able to defend myself from outside on ridiculous, shitty case as this one they lodged against me. So the magistrate judge, which on that point was Judge Snow, she denied me based on the fake immigration letter the prosecutor took, the witch prosecutor took out of her sorry ass and say, immigration has canceled his visas. He's gonna get deported. If he's gonna deport, we're not gonna have him for trial. Fake, absolute fake letter. Because my current lawyer at the time, which was Friedman, charged me $20,000 for that hearing. Friedman showed the judge the guy who I was. Your Honor, this is a race car driver. Look all the stuff he's done for the community. He's even involved helping raise money for the police office that lost his life on duty. I mean, the record is there, people. It is my website, the pictures, the facts, it is everywhere. That's something I can't even lie to you guys because it's there. Even the news, NBC, Palm Beach posted. You search my name on the internet, you see all this. Unless the Mickey Mouse, Von Braun managed to, sweep all this out of the internet to cover up his crazy crap. But besides that, so he started showing this, that even my mother, my United States citizen mother, and my stepfather offer to give to the court the passports and their house. While, seems the prosecutor showed this letter, Mrs. Scotton is a fly risk, then I'm going to deny bail. So we appealed to Judge William. When we get to Judge William, everything was presented to her. Even the immigration lawyer come back and say, no, Mrs. Scotton has a status in this country. Mrs. Scotton is not illegal in the country because he's got a right to appeal the immigration decision. Because immigration tried to deny my application for I-130, right, my green card, basically that I was charged. But it's not the truth that the laws in the United States say that you're innocent until proved guilty. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, how they manipulate everything on their own, for their behalf, right? I was charged with the offense. I was not convicted at the time. So immigration has no rights to deny my application, to cancel my status on the country. So which was done and canceled once again illegally. And this is going to be other things that we're about to do, because we're about to sue immigration for all this fraud they did also, right? They're going to get sued very, very soon. And that's the facts. So Judge William, there he stands. Judge William say, okay, I'm going to deny Mrs. Scott the right to bail, but I'm going to leave the door open. If he's got a bunch of his friends, because they mentioned Hélio Castro de Neves' case, because Hélio Castro de Neves in 2009 was charged with money laundering, right? And of course, he put a lot of money, he bailed himself out. And at that point, he is holding an O1 visa. Don't even have a green card. He was on O1 visa. But of course, he's got a representation from Roy Black, and he put up pretty much close to $1 million to be able to get out, right? So she mentioned Hélio Castro Neves case, and then she say, if I have a bunch of friends that want to go ahead and put their own life on the line for me and sign for me to get out, of course putting money in property, well, she allow me to get out. Huh? Tell me this. I want you guys to write the comment right now. Please do so. If a judge come to you and say, well, if you put your life here on a spot, and in case Mrs. Scotton, decide to flee, run away, we take everything you have. Are you gonna go ahead and do that? Are you gonna go ahead and put your life on the spot? I mean, when you put that away, who's gonna do it? But in general, what we offer, the money we offer, my mother's property, my mother's, my stepfather's passport, they already have my passport in their hands. And I say, house arrest. I'll be glad with the house arrest, with the monitor on my leg. We have a plenty. But no, they choose to violate their rights that I have, because number one, Judge William doesn't want to go against the system and against the magistrate judge. I mean, if I'm a judge sitting on the bench and someone come and say, during the bond hearing, prosecutor offer this fake letter that Mrs. Scotton's name it is Mrs. Pellet. This address that they put here in the letter is not Mrs. Scotton's address. It is even wrong. Doesn't even exist. Right there on the spot. Case is dismissed. Do your job. Don't come to my court here and doing fraud. Okay? Because you are a prosecutor. No. But they're all together in this. That's the thing you guys need to realize. It's not a judge sitting over there to do justice, and be like a football game. No. they already pick the sides. The side they pick it is the government side. It's the same government that paid the judge's check on the end of the week. So don't believe that you're gonna step foot in court and you're gonna find justice. Look what they do with Donald Trump in those days and his friends, because they want to make sure him and his friends will never gonna be able to, elect themselves again. Which look like if Trump will become a president again next election, if they're allowed to, if they don't corrupt the whole thing and throw his sorry ass in jail. But anyway, so that's the fact, people. Judge William didn't answer my motion, my petition. Was sitting there for 5 years. She's avoiding to respond to all the claims. And when talk about the mail fraud thing, she just copy and paste what mail fraud law is. But she didn't try to explain under the law with cases what I'm saying I was wrong or not. She didn't respond to that. She didn't respond about the money loss of the 27 counts. Oh, okay, how can you claim that I defraud 27 times if it is not money lost? None of the stuff she answered. Right, Judge William? I'll make sure I'll send this picture to your email. I'm going to send the link. You can watch when you have a chance. Get a bottle of wine, pop a gun, go enjoy yourself. Right? Because what you did here on your response here didn't come closer to all the allegations that I put on my 46 paper, which it is the second memorandum, right? Because you told me to update if I want to update, and I did it. I'm not counting even the first memorandum that I filed, plus the evidence. So you didn't address anything. You just, once again, you pull the rug and sweep all the garbage out of your desk, right? I don't want to be part of this crap anymore because this guy's a maniac. Every day he's doing a video, claim that everybody is a crazy, that everybody is a corrupt, and I don't want to be part of this. You're smart at that point. But should I done what the law requires you to do, which is give me an evidentiary hearing, bring me back to court. All right, prosecutor, lay down here on the table right now all the evidence that you claim you have it, because they don't have it. So since you have not done this, then sorry to say that, but I have no respect for you either. You are corrupt. You are corrupt, and the only thing you're interested in your ego, right? I'm a judge, and your paycheck at the end of the month. That's the only thing you give a fuck about. Period. Because when you have this kind of motion that you file, and you even with the proof, you show clear that the agent, this Mickey Mouse FBI agent, Roy Van Braun, who is married to a Brazilian woman that is a friend with my ex-wife. And that's the base of this nonsense case was lodged against me, because I decided, to divorce that bitch that live now in Fortaleza, Brazil. And so they conspire here to try to say, okay, let's make him pay for your suffer. So I clear prove here that agent Roy Van Braun not only fabricated the spreadsheets, he also manipulated after the witness has testified, and he lied during the trial. He was caught right there in there, lying trial. Because one important witness, Ron Wolf, a gentleman that owned a store in New York City, was supposed to come to testify. He went and called the guy and threatened the guy. So the day he's supposed to come and testify, he didn't come. He was subpoenaed. He didn't come to testify. The judge called this guy over the phone on the court system, phones. And at one point, Judge Evil tried to pretend to be tough woman. I'm going to come and arrest your sorry ass, Mr. Wolf, because you failed to answer the subpoena, right? Which is all a bunch of, like I say, it is a showroom. It was a freaking show. And she turned to me and said, Mrs. Scott, you want to ask any questions to Mr. Wolf? Wolf, whatever his freaking name is, Ron Wolf. So I started asking him a question. And as soon as I started asking him a question, he stopped me once again and say, Mr. Wolf, I'm going to have to ask you to put your right hand up and 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 she went to the whole BS. This guy's sitting on the other side of the phone, right? Probably holding his dick in his hand, and here's the evil Judge Roosevelt. He swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help God. Can you fucking believe this fucking goddamn show these people put it in? So I asked this guy a question. Have Mr. Roy Van Brun call you? He said, yeah, he called me here. He asked me questions about this case, blah, blah, blah. When Van Brun sitting his sorry ass, and I asked him questions, and he's swear to tell the truth. I asked him flat out, did you call Mr. Ron Wolf in New York City? No, I never spoke to him. So he didn't call him, he didn't spoke to him. No, I never. It's right there on transcripts. In fact, I put those transcripts on my website. It's there for you to see. It is there also in this memorandum of law that Judge William, right, avoid to see it. And we're talking about here constitutional violations and all Mickey Mouse fraud on my case. What about that one here? Your agent lied under Wolf. He lied because I asked him flat out, did you call the guy? Did you talk to the guy? And he said no. And when we speak to these guys over the phone, the guy said, yeah, I spoke to him. He called me here. Nothing much to say, people. If you read it, which I believe I have the memorandum of law also translating in Portuguese, might have some, mistakes here and there, but it's there. Everything is there in detail, which I asked the judge about this, about the mail fraud, the lost amount, the prosecutor perjury letter presented during my bond hearing, the prosecutor documentation redacted. Well, why redacted documentation? You're here to prove the jury that I did something, right? Why are you going to redact the paperwork? The effectiveness assistant of a counselor has been proved over and over that none of those attorneys has provided me with any legal assistance. I put the evidence, I put all the facts and the moments that the things they done. Judge Willie didn't address any of those stuff. In fact, when the court appoint attorneys, which from the public defender's office, Attorney Dorks, she said one day when she came to see me that the prosecutor said that she can prove that I shipped, it was a shipment that she can prove was done by me. I was like, really? How? She said it was a bike in California. I live in Florida. Shipped this bike to a gentleman in Brazil. So they called the bike store. They asked the bike store if they know my company or know me. The bike store said, no, I don't know who he is. I don't know Mrs. Scott. I don't know who he is. And they called the guy in Brazil. When you buy this bike, did you buy that through Mrs. Scott? Do you know me? Do you know Mrs. Scott? Do you know Sky Air? And say, no, I don't know him. And how the fuck the fucking witch from prosecutor's office can prove that this shit has something to do with me? She can link this thing to me. And I asked her, did you ask the bike store, how did you ship your package to this guy in Brazil? Under which account? How? Mail, FedEx, UPS? How did you mail it in? You got a proof? Did you call the guy in Brazil and say, how did you receive your package? How did you pay? Which website you purchased this bike? No. It's always smoke. It's constantly blowing, smoking out of my ass to make me going crazy. Oh my gosh, they got evidence against me. I better go ahead and sign the freaking bullshit contract, lay down for 3 years in prison. That's what the system is. Brady violation. You have no idea how many Brady violations this case was. So, Judge Willie decided to deny. I already submitted my notice of appeal. I'm going to the appellate court, which now I have this brand new case that was decided by the Third Circuit. It was a mail fraud case that the prosecutor tried to increase the defendant's sentence by trying to throwing a bunch of numbers over there on the lost amount. The district court told the prosecutor, you could never in this case even suggest or prove lost amount. The prosecutor was not happy with that decision took to the second, to appellate court. Appellate court affirmed. No, you guys can't prove shit here. So that case is exactly what happened to me. They cannot, in this case, prove a lost amount. How the fuck, Judge William, you didn't see that? How the fuck you didn't done the right thing? You motherfuckers already cost 8 fucking years of my life and keeping fucking throw this garbage all the time. Oh, the records show this. Oh, the appellate court decide this. The appellate court decide the case based on that freaking stupid idiot Richard Clue that was appointed by Rosenbell. That should already probably call him in the office and say, hey, this guy already made a disgraceful order of system. He embarrassed us in court. You know, just go over there and clean this mess. Because the appellate court need to affirm this thing. Because all our lawyers that I call in, the office of Roy Black, David G. Bogenschuh, a bunch of respected lawyers, your case must be reversed. Must. It's too many. Constitutional violation, fraud, and there is not even mail fraud here. You should not be spent a day in jail. But no, they put a rich clue. That attorney that mentioned to me there is no verbal audio in federal court. Yeah, the one that sent the letter lying to me. The one that managed to get a 7 extension in front 11th Circle, which, of course, you guys, you don't know that, but lawyers and people that understand how the appellate court system works, you'd be glad and surprised if 11th Circle give you 1 extension. This asshole, Richard Clue, managed to get a 7 extension without me knowing it. And when he filed his brief, which I asked him many times to include a lot of the stuff that I sent to him, and he says he's going to include it, he filed that brief without consulting me first. He went quietly and filed that brief, which was a shitty appeal that he did. And of course, Rosenbell was there, sitting already in the 11th Circle. You don't think she manipulated things from there? Of course she did it. So, the appellate court affirmed the conviction. And now Judge William tried to use that same garbage that was done, all this record back in the days, and try just to use what these people got to say. These people say this, she used that. That people say that, they use this. But when we talk about facts, true evidence, things that you can touch, not hearsay statements, not BS statement come up out of this freaking Roy von Braunmouth and the witch Mitran, the evil Rosenbell. No, I'm talking about evidence. Can you have one single thing that you can touch? Agent details, invoices, way bills, commercial invoices, tax and duties paid by those companies, where they are. And that's exactly what I ask Judge William to look at, to grant me an evidentiary hearing, because it's so clear that all my rights has been violated, that my rights to present a witness has been violated by the Mickey Mouse FBI agent that called the witness, lie on the stand that he never called him, but he did it, and make the guy stay away. So all this applause bunch, man. If you care to look the paperwork that I posted on my Scotton Racing website, and you see it right here. Refuse to appeal lower court's denial of one's compulsory rights to introduce witness. Did you guys know that before trial, I submit a list that I have 40 something witnesses to come testify. Out of all the witnesses that I put on the list to bring to testify, in one day, Judge Evil Rosenbell called me in court by myself. Was me, Judge William, and Herr Clark, and of course the marshals. They called me in, And she say, I need to go over with you in your 40 witness subpoena. It's like, we already done this. We already went over all this. Well, I need to do this again. You know why? Because the case the prosecutor presented was such a crap. Because, you know, already on the end, the jury put a note and said, we don't understand the case. Right? From my 40 witness, at that day, on a Friday, she prevented me to bring 29 witnesses. She even prevented my mother to testify. Right? So my rights to bring a witness, once again, violated by the judge himself. Now, they put those 2 counts of a lie to immigration office. And they brought my wife to testify, which the record itself shows how contradiction her testimony when the prosecutor was asking her question was when I asked her questions. Because she even mentioned that, well, we never even slept. We never have a sex relationship like any other marriage couple, right? When I asked her how long we date before we end up getting married, and when say, you dating, you go to trips, you go to boat trips, so girlfriend, boyfriend, a 40 years old guy at the time, she's 29. What do you think we did during the 6 months? Play Barbie? And that's exactly what I asked her. Tell the jury what we did. We play Barbie because he said we never even have a sex, so we probably play Barbie all day long, right? Anyway, all the stuff. The attorney failed to challenge the mail fraud offense under 18 USA 1341. On appeal, I asked the lawyer to appeal that, and he refused to do it. And when I tried to bring on the 2255, that's when Magistrate Reyes, tried to say that I don't have a right to bring this thing in. Because if I didn't brought this thing on during the appeal, so I don't have a right to bring it in during my habeas corpus. And I told her, like, I do have a right to bring it in, which Judge William concurred with me. Because I asked the appellate court, and it's not the fact that 2255, you appeal an effective assistance of a counselor. Well, if it is clear there is no mail fraud in this case, and I asked my attorney to appeal this during the direct appeal, and he refused to do so, I brought this on my 2255 because there's an effective assistance of a counselor. Now you see it. Judge Reed, which is a judge, it should have been, she know the law, right? She know the law. She went to school. She played lawyer. She probably played prosecutor before too. You know how it is. They go around and eventually come sit in the courts on a bench. So she know the law. She said that I have no rights to bring this thing in. Because when she saw this, ladies and gentlemen, when she saw what I put it in front of them, she already know he got us by the balls. That's the case right here. 27 counts of mail fraud with no lost amount. No lost amount. And it is not even mail fraud. Because all the explanation already done what a mail fraud is. And she tried to go ahead and sweep me out of that. No, deny him because he can't bring this here. Regulations. We got a rules and he have to respect the rules. Can't bring this on a habeas corpus. No, I can't. Habeas corpus is when you bring in effective assistance of a counsel. And I did it. Unless that Judge William has, but I guess Judge William, let me give this to him. He can win this. But on the other, she denied me. So it's kind of like show that I'm a fair judge. No, you're not. Because if a fair judge, try to throw in my face here and talk some kind of crap about mail fraud, what mail fraud is. Because we already know what mail fraud is. Because I already explained all this 5,000 plus people that are watching this live video right now. What we want is this. Where is the lost amount of the 27 counts of a mail fraud? What is the evidence? Not spreadsheets. Because I can make a spreadsheet for you right now, Judge William, with a $10 million in losses. Like the Mickey Mouse from FBI did it. He made a lost amount with 3,000 something invoices, which it is proof. 13 something was even a repeat. But he didn't present the paperwork. I mean, how can a boss this age present the paperwork? The way bills, the DARF, commercial invoice, pickup, delivery proof, and all this stuff. How? How? Because he manufactured the spreadsheets. He cannot manufacture the spreadsheet and go back to the companies now. Oh, can you guys give me some way bills? Anyway, Judge William, I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue to appeal this. I'm going to exhaust all my rights that I have, going to international court civilly, because there's another thing. Federal courts do not accept it being challenging on an international court, on a criminal level, only on civil level. Just to see how corrupt the whole thing is. You can take the United States government to international courts on a civil matter, but not on a criminal one. How convenient. Anyway, so I really hope you guys understand what I'm saying here. I'm looking forward to see and respond to your comments. But almost after a couple of videos in almost 5 years, Judge William decided to get this hot potato out of her desk. And with not much saying on her decision, she kicked the can to somebody else now. So let's see who's going to be the next clown, and let's see what he's going to have to say about this. By the way, also today, I submit a bunch of emails to the office of John Periclin from the state Miami's prosecutor's office. I sent him all the evidence, all the conversation, all the audio that shows how scumbag attorney Chris Figueroa Contreras is, and how many different people she has defrauded for money at this point. I spoke to also Mr. Rodriguez, which work inside the same office, and she started, oh, I didn't get any emails, and started giving all kind of excuse. And I told her, like, listen, don't answer me, but eventually you're gonna have to answer the taxpayers, right? Because you're sitting there in the office because the taxpayers pay you, right, for you to sit in there. And the same thing goes for Mr. John Pericles, right? You're sitting there, spending taxpayers' money every day, collecting taxpayer money every day, but refusing to do your job. You got a scumbag licensed attorney stealing money from people, make people's life miserable. Worse now, she's threatening those people of the typical thing they do most of the time to immigrants. Say something called immigration, no sorry yes. How many times I have heard this in myself? Oh, calling his immigration his ass. Just because we aliens, right? And that is it. That's the story. Petition filed on December 11 of 2017 was denied September 2nd of 2022. Very close to 5 years. Nothing has been answered. No justice has been done. A normal day in court. Judge William, you're going to have your day eventually with God too. And as much I already told him, and then I place your sorry ass on his hand, you tell him that. When you face God in one day, or maybe when one day the life throw you something that you can handle, and you start get your knees on the floor and pray to God, help me. And then you tell God, when people have to ask for mercy and for help, you have to give to them as well. Don't forget this, people. We're not better than anybody. I'm not better than anybody. Judge William, you're not better than anybody just because you use this black $50 robe and you carry yourself with that name tag as a judge. If you're sitting there today because God has allowed you to sit in there, and don't you think for 1 second that he don't throw something on your way or throw you right there right away. Because he's a God. He's a living God, and he's seen every day. Right? And what you deny that motion, when you deny my petition for habeas corpus, that I seek for justice, I seek for you to do the right thing, and you choose once again to go with the corruption, go with the system, and avoid, to conflict yourself with your other little friends, God has saw that too. So, next time you're going through some hard time, and you believe you're going to ask God to help you, it's not going to be there, right? Because you already done the hell. So ask the devil. You might throw something else. Everybody, until next time, thank you for being here today.